What up, dudes? It's Gaz, and welcome back to the Warframe video. So, today we got the Zombie Octavia build, one of my go-to level 10,000 Void Cascade setups. We'll be showing how to play Octavia, what builds I'm recommending, and also some weapon synergies too to be doing level 10,000 missions very, very comfortably and easily. This build is going to involve many things that are going to be very lazy sounding, such as not having to worry about energy, worrying about Bane mods, worrying about a lot of stuff. And yeah, that's just kind of how Octavia is. Just get ready for a hand cramp if you're playing her for longer missions. And I'll tell you that as I can attest as someone that has played probably like 10 or more hours of Octavia in the last week. So let's get into it. Before we do, make sure you're subbed to this channel. We do daily Warframe video uploads. I really appreciate all support recently, guys. And yeah, this will be the last build video of the week, and we'll have some new build videos next week. I'll have This Week in Warframe tomorrow, go over the weekly reset and all that kind of stuff. Also, I will not be live tonight. I'll be live tomorrow with the weekly reset. So let's get right into it as far as the build I'm trying to show you. Now, this was covered in my Void Cascade Ultimate Endgame Advanced Guide, whatever I ended up calling it, like a month ago. And yeah, it was described in that video, not in major detail. This is the video we'll be describing in actual detail how to run this and how I'd recommend you run this as far as, little synergy things here and there. So let's get right into it. So, this is the Zombie Octavia. It's similar to my Zombie Ash build, my Zombie Revenant build, and the reason it's called a zombie is because it requires minimal mental input, and you're also very effective at taking out enemies, especially going for those headshots to get those brains. So we're using headshot-focused endurance weapons that can kill level 10,000 enemies, like, actually instantly. Like, if you're not killing them instantly, it's not good enough for my kinds of builds I'm trying to go for here. And additionally, since we're a zombie, we don't have to actually think about anything, so our energy bar is taken care of just by us existing. So let's get into it. As you'll see in the background footage, we can take care of level 10,000 Thrax pretty much nearly instantly, especially if we're getting headshots on them with our zombie setup. So let's get into it. We have the Burston Incarnon is my go-to Octavia weapon, and let's go ahead and explain how her abilities are going to be synergizing for level 10,000s, because there's a lot of buffs here, guys. If you don't know how to play Octavia, you might not even realize how much damage she's actually buffing out when you're playing these missions with her. So let's get into it. Alright, so we're in the sim right now, and I am in my Zombie Octavia build. Now, going over how this synergy works. So, I'm just going to advise you read what Octavia's passive does. So, reading what this passive does, replenish 30 energy over 30 seconds for Octavia and allies within 15 meters when an ability is activated. So, that is great, because that's built-in energy regen. We have a helmet ability from Grendel called Nourish, and it has a built-in energy multiplier. So, the energy multiplier will affect the built-in energy of her casting ability, and we'll be able to sustain our entire energy bar and just spam energy endlessly with no prime flow, no archon flow, no normal flow, just very, very comfortably. So, going over what all her abilities do, I'm going to just quickly describe. Maybe you don't know how Octavia works. I know for me, a lot of the stuff is like, I don't know what that does. I just cast it anyway. So I'm going to explain it to you, and also here's the build. Additionally, since we have that energy passive, we have Energy Nexus, giving us 3 energy per second, combined with the passive and with Nourish, we're getting like 15 energy per second or more. So good stuff there. And the rest is just big range for her mallet, and also duration and strength to make we don't have to recast as much. You could definitely throw on Partitioned Mallet if you are planning on solo defending, but it's a negative range as well, so I decided to not go with it in the end. Alright, so let's go ahead and explain how these abilities work. I am going to be putting on invincibility, so don't make fun of me, but I'm just going to show how this works. And we're also going to have armored enemies too. This is a build meant for armored enemies, but not for AoE armored enemies. So the way that her mallet works, we throw out the mallet. You can throw it like above the enemies if you want to. The enemies will shoot at this mallet, and they will deflect their damage back. And you see the numbers are going up and up and up. It's because the enemies keep shooting this mallet. Now, as an Octavia player, it is very crucial. Do not what I'm doing right now. Do not stand next to your mallet, because as you can see, all these enemies are shooting the mallet. I'm actually getting hit here. I would be dead if invincibility was not turned on. As an Octavia player, it is your duty to be in the corner, or not on your mallet, invisible. So how do you go invisible as Octavia? So this is how you properly do this. You throw on the mallet when you're not near it. And then you also make sure you have Nourish active all the time, because our energy bar is going up. We don't have to really worry about energy. Once the mallet is in a proper position, you can throw on your Amp, your 4th ability, and it doubles the range of your mallet. The ability claims it doubles the damage, but it does not double the damage of the mallet, it just doubles the range. So, even with no armor strip, these guys are basically done for. And we're just in a safe spot over here teabagging. As long as you teabag, you can keep getting this Nocturne buff. Invisibility, that's how you get teabag. So we're going to explain the 3rd ability, and I helmet off the 2nd ability, so don't worry about that right now. So these guys are basically just, softened up. They have no procs on them at all. So this build is not... I can show an AoE armor strip setup here, but this is not an AoE armor strip. This is meant for level 10,000 specific enemies. Specifically the Thrax. So I'm going to go ahead and show you what this build is meant for. Actually, the footage will be... Level 10,000... I can't summon level 10,000 in here, unfortunately. Level 10,000 Thrax are afraid of you. They actually don't even know where you are, though, after we show the builds, because we actually have a silencer on our weapon, which means the enemies are not going to really know where we are when we're like shooting at them from across the room. So, as far as level 10,000 Thrax, this is one of the fastest ways to kill them with the Burston Incarnon. There should be one right here just to show it. So, as far as why additionally going zombie mode, we don't want to have to think about proccers here either. So how do we not have to deal with proccers? We mod for corrosive and we use nourish to get viral and corrosive fully stacked up without even using a procker. Like honestly, I don't use proccers anymore. That is irrelevant stuff to me nowadays. So let's go ahead and talk about the weapons and the builds and what you should be going for if you want to be doing this kind of build for level 10,000. So as far as the abilities, what each ability is going to be doing for you. The mallet will be there to soften up enemy overguard, and if you're using pillage, you can just insta-kill lots of the trash ads. But it's mainly there to just take out trash ads and break overguard. It's quite nice against overguard of a level 10,000 Thrax, but yeah, just mainly there to like break overguard and take care of like crowd control. This ability can damage nullifier bubbles in Corpus missions. Just be aware of that. If the enemy nullifier disrupts nullifies your mallet, that's not good, but yeah, put it in a good position where it will be able to destroy the bubbles, but not getting nullified by those bubbles. Nourish is our helmet ability of choice. It gives us built-in viral damage and a bunch of other stuff. And so on our weapon, the Burston Prime, with all that status chance we got there, we get corrosive and viral and heat, and it will definitely kill things really fast, even if we have a negative Corpus Bane on one of our mods. Metronome is the ability that has a lot of stuff going on. So basically you cast it, and depending which song you have on Octavia, it can give you, depending on the song you have on Octavia and also how you jump and teabag and stuff, it will give you a bunch of buffs. Big buffs here, a speed buff from jumping on the beat, called Vivace. We got Opera, which gives you multi-shot. With this build, 78% multi-shot before multi-augmented. And Forte also gives you melee buff. We're not using melee here. Additionally, Nocturne's the invisible one, so just crouch a bunch to go invis with Nocturne. That's what you should mainly be doing. Your teammates can also go invis with Nocturne as well. So if you're paying attention, we have a multi-shot buff here, a viral damage buff here. What does our fourth ability do? It gives us a massive damage multiplier. With this build, it can be up to 700% damage multiplier. And that's pretty good. So we have a big damage buff here, a multi-shot buff here, and a viral buff here. That's enough to kill level 10,000s, guys. It is. And with the shards we have on here, we've got one power strength shard. Actually, make that, two power strength shards, actually. Two red normal power strength shards. Not needed, but on here anyway. And one red duration shard for more duration. You could take these both off for more duration if you prefer that. You'd be at 213% duration. Well, the big thing here are these green emerald shards. Increase the max corrosive stacks by 2. We have 2 of those. 14 corrosive procs is a full armor removal on a level 10,000 enemy, okay? That will be how you kill them with no... I don't have a Bane mod in here. So looking at the Burston build, we've got a Burston build. Now, if you don't have this Riven, just put on Vigilante Armaments in that slot. Instead, it will be worse, but it will be very similar. But I'm going to keep down there for now. So what we have here is we have a relatively high status chance build. We've got 60 Malignant Force, Hammer Shot for status chance, and High Voltage for status chance. With our build, we have 90% status chance on the Incarnon shot, and that's per bullet, so we got multi-shot too. So it's lots and lots of procs. And as far as the rest of the stuff, we got crit here, Amalgam Serration to run faster in the mission. That's literally why it's on here. Galvanized Chamber for more multi-shot on kill, and really nice Riven for multi-shot, crit chance, fire rate, and minus Corpus. Additionally, make sure you got a silencer on here because you don't want the enemies to know where you are or they'll shoot where they heard you. And also we got Primary Deadhead on headshot kill, increased damage. Also good headshot multiplier increase. Very nice for kill level 10,000 Thrax with basically no stacks. Yeah, it's a corrosive build, and I even used it on the Corpus, guys, because the Mallet takes care of the Corpus, and the Burston takes care of the Thrax. So for Incarnon choices, we got Forceful Finality, giving increased multi-shot in the final burst, Kinetic Battle, giving reduced recoil, and Absolute Valor, giving increased crit chance. I have the Grimoire equipped right here, and I actually forgot to use the Grimoire a bunch, but it is good if you do remember to use it. Risk Invocation, giving increased duration per enemy hit, can give you up to 60% extra duration. Very nice for Octavia abilities because they are really good with duration. Additionally, we've got Corrosive procs on here. I forget to use this thing most of the time, but it will get us to our 14 Corrosive procs pretty quickly. Another Silencer so enemies don't hear us. Jahu Canticle, enemies killed by affected by the electric proc will AoE armor strip. I think this does work with her mallet. So you throw out the Jahu Canticle and then you throw out the mallet. If the enemy dies by the mallet, they will AoE armor strip. I think that works. If it doesn't work, whatever. But I think that does work. But they'll all be dead anyway, so who cares? The rest of the stuff is just going to be shield getting stuff with an Augur Pact, Prime Fulmination for bigger AoE on the alt fire shot, and yeah. You can throw in Viral if you prefer that instead. You got Praedos, never actually use it, but it's equipped for movement speed. It's a anti-Acolyte Corrosive build. And the reason it's being equipped is because of sprint, speed, slide, and also parkour velocity with Evolved Ascension. Matter-Eye Focus Tree to take care of those Thrax real quick. Contamination Wave's amazing. And the amp is a 147. For the cat, we got Count Kirby, the Smeeta Vampire Cat Hybrid. But he only has the abilities of the Smeeta. He just looks cool. And as far as the different mods here than usual, we have Aerial Bond. Getting an airborne kill will make this cat come back from the dead even faster. I just like to use that because I like to have my cat give me cat buffs before they nerf it. So, yeah, that's basically the build setup, guys. I do think that this is one of the best characters in the game, easily. It's viewed as a very boring character by a lot of people, so, yeah. And I'll also tell you, I am a Octavia player for sure. You can teabagging this much. Like, I over teabag a lot in this game. Because while you have that Nocturne buff up, you don't need to re-teabag until the Nocturne buff's about to go away. But you're playing Octavia, sure, you're probably going to be constantly teabagging anyway. You don't need to do that, really. I'd say a good Octavia player, and I'm not going to call myself a good Octavia player because I do this too. A good Octavia player will not over-teabag, and your hand will not hurt after your multiple-hour mission. It might still hurt a little bit, but yeah, if your hand really hurts after a long mission as Octavia, guys, you're probably over-teabagging. So when you see the Nocturne buff go active, mine lasts for 30 seconds on this build, and actually with Molt Efficiency maxed out, it'd be probably like 35 seconds. Until that buff goes out, I don't need to recast it. I don't need to re-teabag, actually. So that's all you can keep in mind. Additionally, mallet placement is another sign of a good Octavia player. Make sure it's covering a big area that is going to be, it is line of sight required, so it doesn't go through walls pretty much, so... Learning the spots in the room. Hey, you'll be perma-invis anyway, so learning the spots should be... you'll have plenty of time to do that. Learning the spots in the room that have a good conversions point of enemies shooting at it and enemies getting hit by it is going to be... It's going to come with time. It's going to come with time with farming these different missions and rooms. And additionally, if you want to kill enemies really fast with her, what you should be doing is once you get over... So like right here, I jumped over to this enemy. The second I got next to that level 10,000 Thrax, I use my 4th ability Amp. Why did I do that? Because the second I throw that down, I get a big damage buff that can help me take care of these level 10,000 enemies a lot easier. If I didn't do that, I'd be only relying on my Nourish Viral buff and my Metronome multi-shot buff, which doesn't really, it's good, but combine that with a 600% damage buff, and you're really cooking those Thrax, cooking those Acolytes, etc., etc. So, yeah. If you want to use this in Void Cascade, be my guest. Now, I did say I was going to show a Pillage build here. My Pillage build is meant for Circuit, but you could definitely use it in Cascade. It will be a lot less lazy than the Zombie, because the Zombie doesn't have to worry about primers, doesn't have to worry about Viral procs, doesn't have to worry about energy, doesn't have to worry about, what else do they have to not worry about? A lot of stuff. But for Pillage, you'd probably need to be throwing down Viral procs from something else. And also, to be honest, the reason I'm not using Pillage here is because the Malice is just not good against Thrax compared to what we're doing right now. At the power level I'm at right now, guys, it needs to be an actual insta-kill for these level 10,000s, or I'm not going to be really recommending it or using it. So that's kind of why it's like, okay, why is he only using like this stuff? Because every build I'm putting out, I want to be on this same level of power of insta-killing level 10,000 Thrax. So Burston Prime and Carnage is really good for this. Dual Tox is really good for this, obviously, too. I'm going to get some more weapons in these videos, too, that can do this stuff as fast, but I want to make sure it's on the same level, guys. I've tested the Voltor Prime that can kill these guys really fast. Fierce can kill them fast, but I want it to be the same level of this on everything I'm making on these Void Cascade guides. So, yeah, if you want to go watch the Void Cascade guide, the Octavia build is in there. But, yeah, big things, guys. Just make sure you're placing the mallet properly. Make sure you're not over-teabagging. Make sure that when you're approaching a high-level enemy, place Amp right before you start shooting them, because you'll just preemptively have that big damage buff. And yeah, I think that's most of the stuff I want to mention here, guys. You can actually switch out your aura mod. I've got corrosive projection on here just to make the Thrax die faster, but you can switch off your aura mod for like growing power or something instead, if that's what you prefer. But yeah, it works really well right now. And yeah, you can hang out with Revenant. Just another thing too, like I said earlier, don't stand next to your mallet. Don't stand next to a Revenant either. If the Revenant's standing next to you, they will be immune to damage, but you will not. So be careful of that if you are playing level 10,000s with Revenant in your squad as Octavia, okay? that's basically all I want to talk about today, guys. I'll see you tomorrow with a video and stream. I appreciate all support. Go get those arcanes. And yeah, you guys take it easy. Peace.